Hello dear students. So today we are going to see on the section soul of foot. Now the first thing to discuss here is on plantar aponeurosis. Now this is a similar one which you find in your upper limb, in which it is termed as palmar aponeurosis. When it comes to lower limb, it is termed as plantar aponeurosis. Okay. Now it is a deep fascia which lines your sole of the foot region, and you can find here the attachments of these plantar aponeurosis. This is the proximal part, this is the distal part. Proximal part is attached towards the tarsal bone known as calcaneus, and the distal part, that is the base part. Okay, the base is the distal part. Now you can find that it divides into 5 processes. Okay, this is how the division is: first one, second one, third one, fourth one, and fifth one. There are 5 processes. Okay, and it joins towards, or it is found near the metatarsal bones. Now apart from these plantar aponeurosis, you can also find transverse metatarsal ligaments. Okay, in between these 5 processes there are transverse metatarsal ligaments. Along with that there is something known as digital arteries and nerves. Okay, digital arteries and nerves. Okay, arteries, nerves. Along with that you will also find fibrous flexor sheath. Okay, which encloses the flexor tendons. There is flexor sheath also. Fibrous flexor sheath. Now as we all know, the main function of plantar aponeurosis or the palmar aponeurosis is to fix the skin of that particular region. Along with that it also acts as a protective layer, or it acts as a protective measure for the deeper structures. Okay, in case of a leg, it also helps in maintaining arches of the foot. Okay, arch of the foot is also maintained by means of plantar aponeurosis. Now we are going to see on the muscles of the sole. When it comes to the muscles of the sole, it is broadly classified into 4 layers. First layer, second layer, third layer, and the fourth layer. Okay. The first layer, the muscle which comprises the first layer are flexor digitorum brevis, abductor digiti minimi, and abductor hallucis. Now how do you remember this is, there is a center part muscle which is flexor digitorum. Digitorum is always the center one which divides into 4. So the one which is in the middle is the flexor digitorum brevis. Okay. Now how to remember it is brevis? Always think that layer 1, okay, first layer, it consists of something which is brave. Okay. So brevis. Now flexor digitorum brevis, as you can find, it takes its origin from the calcaneus bone. Okay, along with that from the plantar aponeurosis, and there is a septa present here known as intermuscular septa. Okay, intermuscular septa. Now these muscle, you can find it ends into lateral 4 toes. See, it ends into lateral 4 toes. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Lateral 4 toes, and it inserts towards the base of the proximal phalanx. Okay, proximal phalanx. And you can also find these tendon divide into 2 slips. It divides into like this, 2 slips. Okay, each tendon divides into 2 slips. Okay, and it attaches towards the middle phalanx region. Okay, middle phalanx. So till middle phalanx you can find this. Now that is the first muscle. Second muscle is abductor. So now in the first layer, one which you find is an FD and a brave muscle, okay, which is the first one. Second one is 2 abductors. Okay, so abductor which comes in the great toe, as we all know, it is termed as hallucis, and which comes in the little finger, it is termed as digiti minimi. Minimi refers to smaller, minimi, minimum. Okay, so second muscle is abductor hallucis, third muscle is abductor digiti minimi. Now abductor hallucis muscle also takes its origin from the calcaneus part, okay, from the calcanean bone, along with the intermuscular septa from the flexor retinaculums present. Okay, and these you can find that The hallucis tendon, it inserts towards the medial side of the base of the proximal phalanx. It is only till your proximal phalanx of the great toe. Okay, proximal phalanx of great toe. Now, what about the third muscle, that is abductor digiti minimi? It takes its origin from the calcaneum, again from the calcaneum bone, from the intermuscular septa, from the fascias covering this area. Okay, now these goes and inserts toward the lateral side base of the proximal phalanx of little toe. So till here, proximal phalanx of the little toe. So in the first layer, the middle muscle, it goes towards the middle phalanx, while the other two muscles are inserted towards the base of the proximal phalanx. So that is on the first layer of muscles. Now coming to the layer 2. Okay. The second layer, we can find that it comprises of 4 muscles. Okay. First is flexor digitorum longus. Then next one is flexor hallucis longus. Okay. Then the other muscle is lumbricals, and the final muscle is flexor digitorum accessorius. This is nothing but flexor digitorum accessorius. Okay, it is also known as quadratus plantae. In the BD Chaurasia textbook, you can find that it is flexor digitorum accessorius. Okay. Now, when you learn about these two muscles, if you have remember the name of the deep muscles of the back of the leg region, you can find that there are these two muscles. Okay, flexor digitorum longus and flexor hallucis longus. These are muscles coming from the posterior compartment, deep muscles of posterior compartment of the leg. Okay, flexor digitorum longus and flexor hallucis longus, these two muscles. Okay, now you have to note that these two muscles takes its origin from the tibia. Okay, from the tibia part, and that is flexor digitorum longus is from the tibia region and flexor hallucis longus is from the fibula. Okay, now these two muscles which takes its origin from the back of the leg, it goes towards the second layer of sole. Okay, now once you remove the first layer, that is these 3 muscles, you can find the other muscles. Okay, so you have removed the first layer. When you go towards the second layer, these are the muscles which you find. Okay, now these 2 muscles, you have to note, it takes its origin from the back side of the leg and inserts towards the second layer of sole. Now how do they insert to? Flexor digitorum longus, we have the term digitorum here. Okay, digitorum longus divides into 4 tendons towards the, you can find lateral 4 toes, there are 4 tendons. Now it inserts towards the distal phalanx, till the distal phalanx. Now another muscle is flexor hallucis longus. As we all know, it takes its origin from the lower 3/4 posterior surface of fibula, and this muscle inserts towards the, obviously the name hallucis is there. So it inserts towards the base of the distal phalanx of the big toe till here. Now, what about the other muscle? There is a muscle known as flexor digitorum accessorius. Okay, flexor digitorum accessorius. It is called like that because it acts like, or it is accessory to the flexor digitorum longus muscle. Okay. Now there are 2 heads of these flexor digitorum accessorius. There is a medial head, there is a lateral head. Okay. Now the medial head, it arises from the medial concave surface of calcaneum. The lateral head arises from the towards the lateral tubercle of calcaneum. Now both head, that is medial as well as lateral head, arises from the 2 tubercles of calcaneus, and this inserts towards the lateral side of the tendon of flexor digitorum longus. Okay, laterally to the tendon of flexor digitorum longus. If this is a flexor digitorum longus, it inserts towards the lateral side of the flexor digitorum longus tendon. Okay, now there is some muscles known as lumbricals. Okay, lumbricals. Now there are 4 lumbricals you can find. Okay, now these lumbricals arises from the tendon of which muscle? Flexor digitorum longus. First point. Second point, the first lumbrical is unipennate. Okay, first lumbrical is unipennate and the others are bipennate. Unipennate refers to the arrangement is like only one side. Okay, now from the second, third, fourth, it is bipennate. Muscle attachment is there in both the sides. Okay, now the first lumbrical arises from the, see, you can find the first tendon. Okay, arises from the medial side of the first tendon of flexor digitorum longus. Now second one arises from both the sides. Okay, second one arises from first and second tendon. Okay, so when you see the next muscle, it is like first and second, and there are muscles. Okay, arises from. So first lumbrical arises from first tendon itself. Second lumbrical arises from these two, that is from the first and the second tendon. Okay, now the third lumbrical arises from second and third. First lumbricals is from the first tendon of flexor digitorum longus. Second lumbricals is from adjacent side, because this is the only one which is unipennate, only with one side. Arrangement is like this. Okay, the next one is bipennate. From both the sides you can find. The arrangement is like this. Okay, both sides bipennate. So it is from first and second tendon. Third lumbricals from third and fourth tendon. Sorry, first one is from first tendon. Second lumbricals is first and second. Then third lumbricals is second and third. Okay, second and third. Then fourth lumbricals is third and fourth. First and second, second and third, then third and fourth. That is how lumbrical arises. Okay, now they all passes forwards and also towards the lateral 4 toes. Okay, and it inserts towards extensor expansion. Okay, it inserts towards extensor expansion. The similar pattern you find in upper limb. So that are the lumbrical muscles. Okay, 4 lumbrical muscles which arise. For only the first one is unipennate, rest are all bipennate. So the 4 muscles which comes in the second layer are flexor digitorum longus, flexor digitorum accessorius, lumbricals, as well as flexor hallucis longus. Okay, that comprises the second layer. Now coming to the third layer of muscles, this is a third layer which you can find. The major muscles in the third layer of the sole are flexor hallucis brevis. Okay, flexor hallucis brevis, then adductor hallucis, flexor digiti minimi. Okay, 3 muscles you can find. Now flexor hallucis brevis. Okay, hallucis, so it is towards your great toe. Now it is a Y-shaped muscle. You can find it a Y shape. Okay, this is a Y-shaped one. The yellow colored you can find Y-shaped muscle. There is a lateral limb, there is a medial limb. Okay, lateral limb arises from the cuboid bone. Okay, cuboid bone. We have seen on the tarsal bones. Okay, there is a cuboid bone. Okay, cuboid bone, and medial limb, it is a continuation of tendon of tibialis posterior. There is a muscle known as tibialis posterior in the back side. So it is a tendon, from the tendon of the tibialis posterior it continues. Okay, so that is a Y-shaped muscle. Now these Y-shaped muscle, it inserts, it splits into medial and lateral parts again, and each of these ends in a tendon. Okay, now this is inserted towards you can see here. Okay, this part, that is base of proximal phalanx of the great toe. A Y-shaped muscle inserting to the proximal phalanx of great toe. The next muscle is adductor hallucis. Adductor hallucis. So that is also a muscle to hallucis, great toe. Okay. Now this also has got two heads. The two heads here present are the transverse head and the oblique head. Okay. Now the oblique head, as you can see, it arises from there is a metatarsal ligaments present. Okay. From these metatarsal ligaments, along with that there are plantar ligaments of the metatarsophalangeal joints, okay, of third, fourth and fifth toes. Okay. So from here, this area, so that is on the oblique head. Okay, oblique head from the deep metatarsal ligaments along with that plantar ligaments, from the ligaments, and it inserts towards, you can find, base of the proximal phalanx of big toe along with the flexor hallucis brevis. This both you can find together. Okay. Now there is another head known as transverse head. This is the transverse head which you can find. Okay. Now, so this is the transverse that we had spoken about. Okay, this is a transverse, this is a oblique. Okay, this is a transverse, that is from the third, fourth, fifth toes. It is these three, third, fourth, fifth toes. Okay, this is the transverse head. This was oblique head. Okay, so it is from the second, third, fourth. Second, third and fourth. Sorry, this is the oblique head and this is a transverse head. Transverse and oblique head, the difference is that the oblique is basically from the second, third, fourth one. The other one is from third, fourth, fifth. Okay, and it lies, as you can find, transverse is the one which lies like this. Okay, transversely. This is the oblique one. Okay, this is the transverse one and this is the oblique. Okay. Okay, then these inserts towards the base of the here along with the flexor hallucis brevis muscle. Okay. Now there is another muscle known as flexor digiti minimi brevis. Okay, flexor digiti minimi brevis. Now this muscle, you can find it is from it takes its origin from the base of the fifth metatarsal here. Okay, base of fifth metatarsal bone. It inserts towards the base of the proximal here. Base of the proximal phalanx of the little toe. Okay, so the muscle attachment is like this. Hallucis, there are muscles attaching to the proximal phalanx. Okay, these are the hallucis muscle and this is the brevis muscle. Okay, that comprises the third leg. Okay, flexor hallucis brevis, adductor hallucis, flexor digiti minimi brevis. Three muscles. Now, what about layer 4? Okay. Now, we have to understand that fourth layer, it comprises again of two tendons from the muscles on the back side of the leg. Okay. Those two muscles are tibialis posterior muscles and peroneus longus. Okay. We have discussed on this tibialis posterior and peroneus longus muscle. Now, it takes its origin all from the fibula part. Okay. And inserts towards the fourth layer of the sole. Now, where does it inserts to? Tibialis posterior inserts towards the bone known as navicular bone. Okay, navicular bone, which is a tarsal bone, and peroneus longus, as we have all learned, it inserts towards the base of first metatarsal bone. Okay, base of first metatarsal bone. Okay, base of first metatarsal bone. That are about the two muscles in the fourth layer. Okay, the two muscles are basically the muscles from your back side of the leg which inserts there. The other two muscles are interossei muscles. As you all know, you have learned on upper limb also. Now there are two sets of interossei muscles, plantar interossei muscles as well as plantar interossei muscles, as well as we have something known as dorsal interossei muscles. Okay. Now you have to note here that the plantar interossei muscles, they are unipennate muscles. Okay, plantar are unipennate muscles. Dorsal interossei muscles are bipennate muscles. Okay. Now this is the plantar interossei muscles. There are three muscles. Okay, three bellies, three muscles are present. You can find here. They are plantar interossei muscles are here. Okay. Now this arises from this is a great toe. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now these arises from third, fourth and fifth. Okay, third, fourth and fifth metatarsals. Okay, from the base and the medial side. This is a, see, when you take a metatarsal like this is the medial side, this is the lateral side. Okay, now this takes its origin from the medial side. Okay, and it inserts towards the base of the proximal phalanx. Okay, base of the proximal phalanx of the corresponding digits, that is third, fourth and fifth toes. Okay, towards the same side, proximal phalanx. These are plantar interossei muscles. Always remember that they are unipennate muscles. Now these are your plantar interossei muscles. Okay, now there is a dorsal interossei muscles in which you can find the dorsal interossei muscles are bipennate. Okay, bipennate. I forgot to add a picture of that. They are bipennate muscles. Okay, now you can find them between the two sections. That is, first you can see it on the between the first is from the medial side of the second toe. Second is from the lateral side of the second toe. Third is from the lateral side of the third toe, and fourth is from the lateral side of the fourth toe. Now only one muscle you can find, it occupies on the medial side. Okay, the rest are from the lateral side. Okay, just see through the pictures of dorsal interossei muscles, you can understand well. It arises from the adjacent sides. Okay, adjacent sides, and that is how it inserts to. Okay, dorsal interossei muscles. The other two are the tendons which comes from the posterior side of the back side of the leg. There are muscles coming inserting to the fourth layer. Okay, so there are the four layers of sole. First layer, second layer, third layer and the fourth layer. Now coming to one more thing, that is on the nerve supply. Regarding the first layer, it is supplied by medial plantar nerve. Okay, now as you all know, sciatic nerve, there is a sciatic nerve present here. Now sciatic nerve, it divides into tibial and common peroneal nerve. Now these tibial nerve again divides into medial plantar nerve and lateral plantar nerve. Okay, now you have to understand that the first layer of sole is basically which is supplied by the medial plantar nerve. Okay, out of that abductor digiti minima is the only muscle supplied by lateral plantar nerve. Rest these two are supplied by median plantar nerve. Okay, medial plantar nerve. Abductor digiti minima is by the lateral plantar nerve. Okay. Now coming to the next muscle, that is next layer, that is the layer 2. As you all know, these two are the muscles coming from the back side, so they are supplied by the tibial nerve. Okay, that is why they are supplied by tibial nerve. The other muscles, they are supplied by the flexor digitorum accessorius. This is supplied by the lateral plantar nerve. Now coming to the lumbricals, you have to study this. First lumbrical is supplied by median plantar nerve. The other three, okay, others are supplied by the lateral plantar nerve, deep branch of lateral plantar nerve. Okay, you have to learn these exceptions. First lumbricals, median plantar nerve, rest three are supplied by the main deep branches of lateral plantar nerve. Okay, now coming to the third muscle, third layer, it is the flexor hallucis brevis is supplied by median plantar nerve. Rest are all supplied by lateral plantar nerve. Okay, learn the exceptions. Okay, first one is median plantar nerve. The rest is supplied by lateral plantar nerve. Okay, now out of that, adductor hallucis is supplied by deep branch of lateral plantar nerve. Flexor digiti minima is supplied by superficial branch of lateral plantar nerve. Now what about the fourth layer? Now as you can see, fourth layer, you have to know from which all the muscles coming here. Okay, now we all know the tibialis posterior, it is in the back side, is supplied by tibial nerve. Okay, tibial nerve. Now peroneus longus, it is a nerve which is supplied by superficial peroneal nerve, which is a branch of common peroneal nerve. Okay, now the other interossei muscles, again interossei muscles also you have, it is supplied by lateral plantar nerves. Okay, interossei muscles are supplied by lateral plantar nerve. Okay, now there is a difference, that is some are supplied by superficial branch, some are supplied by deep branch. In case of palmar interossei, the first and second, they are supplied by lateral plantar nerve, that is a deep branch. Okay, now third is supplied by lateral plantar nerve, that is a superficial branch. Now we have to know that there are only 3 plantar interossei muscles and there are 4 dorsal interossei muscles. Now out of the 4 dorsal interossei muscles, the first 3 are supplied by deep branch. Okay, first 3. The last one is supplied by superficial branch of lateral plantar nerve. So the supply is like all the interossei are supplied by lateral plantar nerve. Then tibialis posterior is supplied by tibial nerve. Peroneus longus is supplied by superficial peroneal nerve. Okay, understand from where do they arises, and you can know the supply. Okay, each region. So there is an exception in each of the layers. It is not wholly supplied by a single nerve. There is a combination of medial plantar nerve and lateral plantar nerve, and you have to understand that they are the branches of tibial nerve. Okay, tibial nerve divides into medial plantar nerve and lateral plantar nerve. So that is all about the muscles of layer of sole and its nerve supply. Thank you.